in your Cuisinart, sort of fill it up. You're not going to use it all. And you're going to chop it. Okay, until it's breadcrumbs, until it's ground. The next thing you're going to do is you are going to take a garlic clove, which I think I forgot to mention, but you do need, always have garlic on hand. Most recipes you need some garlic. And for whatever reason you don't like garlic, you can leave it out, but it does add flavor. And you are just going to chop the garlic. So you're going to start with the garlic and you're going to put it into a big bowl. And then you're going to chop your spinach. And a little at a time. Now spinach contains a lot of water, and when it's cooked, it shrinks. So although it looks like a ton of spinach, it's really not. Again, you're just going to chop it till it's in fine pieces. Be careful not to cut your finger off. You'll need that for later. You're going to place that in the bowl and keep chopping. So again, this is a great thing if your kids are eating dinner or you have spare time in the morning before you go to work. Just chop the spinach. Stay all day in a refrigerator. And then you're ready to go. Because one of the biggest challenges is being able to cook and then socialize with your guests. So you want to be prepared so that the time that it takes you to make the dishes is not very long. After we finish chopping the spinach, we're going to now take our mushrooms, and with mushrooms, you don't really have to wash them as much as just sort of wipe them down. Make sure there's no dirt on them. It's not really great to wash mushrooms. So we are going to wipe them down and we are going to remove the stem from the inside because we're going to stuff them. But we are going to use the stem, so we're not going to get rid of them. So we'll take a Pyrex baking pan, and it doesn't have to be Pyrex, it could be any glass baking dish, and we are going to place the mushrooms inside. You really want to make sure to get that whole stem out so that you have room to stuff. After we've removed all the stems, we are going to chop the stems. Again, just a fine chop. There's really not much skill to it. However you can get it chopped, chop it. If you have two of the Cuisinarts, you can throw them in there. But we already have our breadcrumbs occupying its space. So, just chop them up. Fine chop. You know, it's quiet now for my show, but usually I have screaming kids in the background, and that's when, you know, it's okay to have a glass of wine before your guests even arrive. Because they want to make sure their hostess is sane. Okay, so after we chop the mushrooms, we're just going to throw them right in with the spinach. And the garlic. Okay, half a cup of breadcrumbs. And then you're going to add your 1/4 cup of sour cream. A little bit of salt. A little bit of pepper. cheese. And you're going to stir that all together. The oven has to be at 400, so if you've just made the shrimp, you can turn it down. If you're just making the mushrooms, then preheat your oven to 400. So you're going to stir all the ingredients together. And if it seems a little dry, don't be shy, just add a little more sour cream. Cooking is like an art, you know. Baking, you really, really have to measure exactly, but with cooking you don't. So, for whatever reason it seems a little dry, add some more sour cream. And then you're going to stuff the mushrooms. So you're just going to take a scoopful and push it into the mushroom. And it sort of has a paste-like consistency, so it should just stuff right in there. You're just going to stuff all the mushrooms, pack it in. Really just have fun with it. Like I said, cooking is an art. It's fun. It doesn't have to be exact. As long as you use good ingredients, it should come out well. And depending on how many guests you have, you could use the same amount of spinach for 2 boxes of mushrooms. And depending on how many different hors d'oeuvres you want to have. But really, this recipe would fill 2 boxes of mushrooms. So 24 mushrooms around about. But if you don't want to make all the mushrooms, you can put it in a little dish and bake it separately. It's a great for the next day or a snack. The filling is what makes the mushroom. Again, you're just going to pack it in, make sure they're all a generous amount, and that's it. So easy. And we're going to bake them. And we're going to bake them at 400 for about 20 minutes. Now another quick tip is clean while you go. So after you put the mushrooms in or the shrimp, make sure you go to your sink and clean your tools. It'll make life so much easier. You definitely don't want to let all the dishes stack up because it just makes for a terrible cleanup in the end. So you have time, it takes 2 minutes. Clean your dishes, so you're always starting with